Hi, it's Andy here at Photech Video. If you enjoy taking photos outdoors, but the weather is not on your side, don't worry. In this short video, I'm going to give you a great idea of what you can do when the weather outside is dark, rainy and miserable. And I'll be including a few example images. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll give you one of my top tips. So where you live, there may be times of the year when it's dark, rainy and pretty miserable. That is certainly the case where I live. So sometimes the weather just doesn't feel right for picking up your camera and going outside to take photos. But my advice to you is do not miss out on this fantastic opportunity to get some unique images. I'm talking about capturing images of the reflections created by the rain, by the water, on the ground, on the pavement, in the puddles, on windows, on cars, etc. You can get some really interesting photos with the combination of the wet surfaces, the reflection of lights, and the dark evening. A couple of weeks ago, before this happened, we were having some really miserable weather. It rained for most of the day for about a week, and then in the evenings, it just stopped raining. I had a couple of projects which I wanted to complete if the weather was good. However, it really wasn't good, and I wanted so much to get outside and take some photos. So I decided that I would try some reflection photography, as the conditions were perfect for it. I also wanted to play around with my photo editor to push these photos to a maximum to create a completely different look in the images. So I took my Sony a5100 coupled with my 16 to 50mm f3.5 to f5.6 kit lens, put on my anorak, and off I went to try some reflection photography. Now, I decided before going out that I was not going to worry about the ISO value in my camera settings. For me, the most important thing was to get the correct exposure using the shutter speed and the aperture, and not worry so much about the possible noise which could be created by a high ISO value. Remember, the ISO on mirrorless and DSLR cameras is like a volume knob. It just turns up the brightness, but also creates noise in your final image. But I wasn't really so much worried about that. I wanted to capture the photos themselves. Because the Sony 16 to 50mm f3.5 to f5.6 is a variable aperture zoom lens, I decided on the following settings. I set my shutter speed to 1/100th of a second. I set my aperture to f3.5 with the lens at its widest focal length of 16mm, and I set my ISO to automatic, using the manual exposure function of the Sony a5100. In my example images, which you'll see in a moment, the ISO value varied between 400 and 10,000. But as I said before, I wasn't worried about the ISO value. What I wanted was a correct exposure for each of the images, because I knew that I was going to play around with them in my editing software afterwards. And I wanted to start off with a correct exposure. So let's take a look at some of the images which I shot on that dark and rainy day. I'm going to include the original and then my edited version, and you'll see that I pushed the editing to the extreme just to try and get a different look in these images. Once I'd got the look that I wanted in my editing software on the first photo which I was editing, I created a preset and applied it to all the other example photos which you'll see now. I don't claim them to be excellent photos or even good photos, neither the original nor the edited version. I just wanted to show you something that you could do which is fun if the weather is not on your side to complete the project which you had in mind previously. And who knows, you may be lucky enough to get at least one photo that you want to keep. It's also a great moment to experiment with your photo editor and the functions which it offers, which are almost limitless today, to be able to change the look and feel of your images. Okay, so there you go. A few examples of reflection photography on a dark and rainy day. One of the things I realized during this exercise was that I began to look everywhere there was water to see the reflections at the different angles which I could obtain in my images. Remember that with photography, it's important to practice, 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 and experiment, experiment, experiment. Photography can be great fun and an excellent and creative way to spend your free time. So I encourage you to pick up your camera, whatever the weather, and see what results you can get, and then play around with them in your photo editor. So please let me know which settings you use on your camera if you do this type of reflection photography in the rain or after the rain in the comments section down below. And if there's any other tips that you'd like to share with us, please feel free to do so. Please check out my affiliate links in the description section down below. If you purchase anything through one of my affiliate links, the price to you will be the same, and I will receive a small commission, which will help me to continue creating content for you here on my channel. If you liked this video and found it interesting, please click on the like button. And if you know anybody who you think may find it interesting, please share it with them on your favorite app. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to it. It's completely free for you, and it helps the channel to grow. And while you're at it, ring on that notification bell to be notified every time a new video drops on my channel. Okay, so as promised at the beginning, here is my top tip for today. Apart from keeping your camera and lens dry if they're not weather sealed, and of course keeping yourself dry and warm as well, play around with the white balance on your camera, because the rain can give a blue tinge, a blue look to your images, and you may want to compensate for that to obtain more natural colors by adjusting your white balance accordingly. Well, that's all for today. So until the next time, this is Andy at Photech Video signing off. Take care and be safe.